Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Tara Rhodes, owner of Dream Vacations. We're a full-service travel agency based in northeastern Pennsylvania. With our focus is on leisure travel. So we create custom vacation itineraries that make our clients' dream vacations a reality. So I specialize in trips to all-inclusive resorts in the Caribbean, guided tours, both domestic and international, and cruises of all kinds. So I'm super excited for today's topic. Riviera River Cruises, the hidden gem of European river cruises. So in my conversations with friends and people I meet, river cruising is a subject that I'm always asked about. People just want to learn more. So before we get started, just a couple of housekeeping items. Everyone is on mute. But please feel free to take advantage of the chat feature. If you have any questions, please feel free to enter them in. At the end of our presentation, we'll happy to answer any questions. We'll have a brief Q&A session. And in addition, this presentation is being recorded and you will receive a copy as well. So we're very fortunate today to have an expert in the field joining us. Bruce Metzeldorf with Riviera River Cruises, with over 30 years in the travel industry. I've had the pleasure of seeing Bruce present several times, and his passion for river cruising really shines through. So thanks for joining us today, Bruce.
Thanks very much, Tara. And again, welcome everyone. And thank you for joining our webinar this afternoon about Riviera River Cruises. Today, as Tara mentioned, we're going to talk about the hidden gem because many of you may have heard of some other river cruise lines, but not about Riviera. So we'll talk what makes us different and unique in the European river cruise market, and some of what our ships are like, and a little bit more where we fit into the market. And we'll also talk briefly of a number of our itineraries, just to give you a taste and flair of what we do, and also how we make them different. And then we'll go into some specials, and then at the end we'll go have some questions if you have them or if you put anything into chat. So without further ado, I'll continue. Again, my name is Bruce Metzeldorf. I'm the North American Sales Director for Riviera River Cruises. A little bit history about who Riviera is. We're not a new company. We actually were established well over 36 years ago. In the UK as an outbound escorted tour operator for the UK market. And we started river cruising just over 12 years ago. And in that first 5-6 years, we became the UK market leader in river cruising, outselling all other river cruise brands, even the ones that you're more familiar here as well. So last year alone, we had well over 40,000 passengers to sail with us in 19. And we've won a lot of awards in the UK market, and now so here in the North America market as well. So we have a very high-end caliber brand. We have a stunning fleet of 5-star ships and the most modern and well-appointed in Europe. Of our 13 ships, 4 were brand new in 17, 2 in 18, 2 in 19, another new one now for 20. We've actually already retired a ship this past year and a year before that. So with an average age of under 3 years, we have the most modern, newest, or youngest fleet in the European rivers. And just to give you an idea where we fit in, if you're familiar with some of the other river cruise lines, we fall into the top end of the premium river cruise market. That would be just below the luxury market. But what makes us different with the ones that we compete with in that top end premium market is that we're about a third less in price. And what that means to you is that we don't sacrifice quality for price. So you're going to get a great high quality product, but with a great value. To give you an idea about our ships, of our 13 ships that we have now, we have our 135 meter ships, and that would equate to about 443 feet. We have the MS Robert Burns, Williams Wordsworth, Emily Bronte, Oscar Wilde, Thomas Hardy, and the Geoffrey Chaucer. Our 110 meter ships would be the George Eliot, Jane Austen, Lord Byron, William Shakespeare, and the Charles Dickens. And we also have 2 ships on the Douro River, and that's in Portugal. We have the Douro Splendor and the Douro Elegance. But if you see there, for most of our ships running through the main part of Europe, we name them after UK authors. So very recognizable names you can pronounce. And those of you who've been on other river cruises, you might know that some of those names are interesting. But again, recognizable. And again, as I said, the youngest, most modern fleet in the European rivers. I'm going to show you a little video here, which gives you a comparison on the cabin size of somebody you may be familiar with. So our lead-in French balcony cabin coming in at 48 square feet larger than our competitor. And that's enough room for a small car, a gray white shark, or maybe 112 iPads. But what that means to you is it's 26% larger in space. So that means you're going to have more space for yourself in your stateroom and also more public space, because our competitor that you're familiar with, that will come in at smaller cabins and more passengers. Well, we'll max out at close to about 166 passengers. On the same size ships, they'll have closer to 200 passengers. So again, you have more amenities with Riviera and more space and public space for yourselves. So as I mentioned, actually now it's 13 years of river cruising. Sorry, I need to update that. No, 12 years of river cruise, 13 elegant 5-star ships. One new ship for 2020, as I mentioned, the Williams Wordsworth. The youngest, or Geoffrey Chaucer, the youngest fleet cruising the European waterways. 97% of the people that travel with us not only said they had a good experience, but they would book us again. And in the travel business, that's a very high number. Some of the amenities is refillable water bottles in your staterooms because we've gone green. So you've got nice filtered water. Plush robes and slippers in your staterooms. Coffee and tea making facilities in every stateroom. In fact, we're probably one of the only river cruise lines that offers that in every stateroom, not just the suites. And because we're a British company, you know, we have to have those separate tea kettles as well as the separate coffee makers. And the coffee makers are Nespressos. And so once you figure out how to use them, they're actually really good for you coffee drinkers. It works out well because my wife is the coffee drinker and I'm the tea drinker. We have enhanced continental breakfast room service included, where it'd be an option on other lines or not even included or offered. Superb dining with a choice of onboard restaurants. So we have 2 restaurants on board, and we'll talk more about that. 24/7 available coffee and cookies in the center of the ship. We have those nice, great machines where you can get those lattes or American coffees or European espressos or whatever. And that's available 24/7. Early bird breakfast and midnight snacks, so I promise you're not going to go hungry. Afternoon tea time, because we are British, so we're going to do afternoon tea. So after you've done some touring, you'll be able to come back to the ship, have some tea or coffee if you prefer, with the scones and the clotted cream and pastries in the afternoon, so you don't have to wait till later on to get something to eat while you're on board ship. Complimentary Wi-Fi is included. A bicycle is available to explore on your own. Spacious cabins and suites with L'Occitane or Crabtree and Evelyn amenities. We'll have a hair and nail salon, a fitness center, a spa or sauna and steam room that you can utilize. And every departure that we do, we have a number of single cabins on every single departure with no supplement. These are regular double cabins, so you only pay for yourself if you're someone who travels on their own. So you don't have to pay double. And then we also have dedicated solo travel cruises, and we'll talk more about that. So just to take a closer look at one of our newer ships, the Robert Burns, the deluxe balcony suites coming in at just under 270 square feet. These have floor-to-ceiling doors. Of course, we that open to a full balcony. You can see that you can sit out, relax, and watch the river go by, but also the full French balcony over by the bedroom area. So there's a full French balcony and sit-out balcony with a host of amenities, and we'll talk more about that. Then we have our Superior Suite coming in just under 250 square feet. Again, all the floor-to-ceiling panoramic French balcony. And you'll notice those 3 panels, what they do is they slide all the way over and you turn your chairs around there that you see, and basically your whole room or stateroom becomes your balcony. And then we have our lead-in French balcony suites coming at 183 square feet. And those of you who have been out on ocean cruises, you might notice that these rooms are larger than you're going to see on your ocean cruises for your outside or even balcony cabins, coming again at 183 square feet. Floor to ceiling panoramic, again, the French balconies, those panels going all the way over, and all those amenities we had spoken about. Beautiful and spacious bathrooms in all our staterooms. So you'll find the vessel sinks, handheld shower head, plus the rainwater shower head that you see there, marble showers. Again, notice large spacious showers you can actually walk around in. Those of you who might have been on ocean ships, you know, honey, I'm stuck in the tube. You don't have that with Riviera. Lots of space and comfort. New for 2021, we have something called Riviera Plus. So any of our guests staying in our deluxe and superior suites and all upper deck cabins will now benefit with new items, including a smart handset with maps, translator, currency converter, limited call, text messaging, and internet usage on board or ashore. So again, that comes with this, being in those cabin categories. Bottle of, L'Occitane Provence toiletries, bottle of Prosecco upon arrival, platter of seasonal fruit during your cruise, and an aperitif or pre-dinner drink prior to the dinner every evening with our compliments. So this is now all included with Riviera Plus, staying in those cabin categories. Though we again have beautiful spacious lounges, this would be our main lounge. Here you'll have space for the entire passengers to enjoy and sit and relax, to watch some evening entertainment or watch the river go by. You'll have the bar. You have a dance floor in here for nightly entertainment and a piano player who plays throughout the evening. Local entertainment that comes on board, or the crew will perform for you. So there's always something in here. Your cruise director or concierge will manage to do a talk before you arrive to each of the ports to tell you what you're going to see. And what's great about this is they'll be up front with a TV and a microphone, but around the whole lounge area, a TV will pop up, about 8 of them throughout the lounge. So no matter where you're sitting, you'll be able to see and view what the cruise director is speaking about. Our sun deck is large and spacious. So if you remember, the ships are longer or larger ships are 443 feet. So think about what it might be on a football field. That's 300 feet. And then you add the end zones on each side. So you've got 340 feet. You still have to have another 100 feet on top of that to get the length of our river cruises, our ships. But lots of space to sit out with wonderful and comfortable furniture, whether you want to sit in the shade or out in the open air. So it's your choice. All our ships have some kind of water element. So that plunge pool there that you see, kind of a big jacuzzi, but with no bubbles. And you can sit out there with your glass of wine or whatever and watch the river go by. And it's also heated in the earlier and end of season, so you can do that. In fact, I was over last October and I sat in one of these pools. It was nice and comfortable with my glass of wine, and I wish I was there now, to tell you the truth. And again, all the ships have those putting greens or giant chessboards. So again, things to do. Other things like a spa for massage services are available, or a sauna and steam room complimentary. We'll have a hair and nail salon. And again, those of you, you've done your touring, you want to come back and relax, you have these other options and items to do. We'll have a fitness room with a number of pieces of equipment and a few free weights and things for exercise, and bikes on board. Now, I always get this question. No, it's because you just saw a picture of our nice long deck. It's not for riding around the deck. It's for riding around the shore. So you would let our front desk staff know that you'd like to get a bike, say tomorrow at 2 o'clock. They're going to have that out on the shore for you. And you stop by, pick up the key, and unlock your bike, and you're on your way to ride along the river or into town. It's just, just a very relaxing way to take in all the sights of that particular town and city you're visiting. Now, I mentioned a very modern ship, but if you take a look here, this is looking forward or towards the front of the ship. You'll see the staircase, that little carpeted area. That's on either side of that is how you enter or exit the ship to go ashore. Beyond that, we'll have our tour desk, our front desk and a boutique, and then all the way forward behind those glass doors, you can kind of see that's where our lounge is. And now we're going to do a reverse view. And now you're looking aft or towards the back of the ship, where you can see the 3 deck levels, the lower, middle, upper decks. And then also to highlight that we have an elevator that goes to all the deck levels. Now, people ask me, is river cruising for people who might have mobility issues? I would not recommend it, because in Europe you have a lot of cobblestone streets and things like that. But if you're used to that, or you have some help, it would be okay. But your clients still, or your guests would still need to be able to walk at least 1 flight of stairs with handrails. But if they don't have if they do need some, they can do light walking, that's fine. But if they don't choose to use the elevator, again, they have that option, so they don't have to walk the stairs. The other thing to point out is I mentioned that, again, as I earlier, the newer ships, the most modern, but we try to bring in that old world charm. So again, that reverse shot that I showed you earlier, and looking now aft, you can see the beautiful chandelier. But even taking in that, just looking at that staircase, you have to look at that iron grill work and the brass railings. They're bringing that beautiful charm into of cruising. So again, very well appointed ships, but again, just bring in that nice charm of what cruising is about. As I mentioned, we have 2 restaurants on board. We have our main restaurant, which is for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This would be currently through the end of the year, it'd be all serviced food. Menu service that you'll get from your waiter for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but you come at your time that you choose, so there's no rush, or so everybody can be socially distanced. Of course, normally for breakfast and lunch, there is some waiter service with selections to choose from, and then you would have a buffet. And then dinner is always sit down in this restaurant. It does change nightly, so you have a different menu with a host of items to choose from. And then we also have our a la carte restaurant. The difference here is that the a la carte is included in the cost of the cruise. There is no additional charge. This is open for lunch and dinner. Lunch is open seating, so first come, first serve. But people tend to forget this is available, and they go to the main restaurant. I love sitting back here myself because it's a little bit more quiet, and they open up those curtains that you see on the right side of your screen, and it's all open air, and there's glass doors, and it's just beautiful views as you cruise or while you're sitting in port. And then it's the reservations for dinner, so you would need to make a reservation for this this dining room. Keep in mind that this menu does not change, but there is a host of items to choose from. So if you want to eat here more than once, it is available, but you do have other items to choose. And it's an open air kitchen. Everything is made to order by the chefs on the left side of the screen there. You'll see the reflection of the curtains behind that glass, but you'll find the chef preparing everything to order. So where can we take you? Well, here's the thing. We can't build new rivers, so we have to do different on how we manage our itineraries and where we take you on our cruises. So because the rivers don't change, but we do things differently the way we run our itineraries for our cruises. But just to give you an idea as an overall, you've got up in the north area through the Netherlands through April, we have a lot of number of tulip time cruises that also do into northern Belgium with Bruges and Ghent and that medieval Flanders area. And then we come into Cologne, down the Rhine from Cologne, the Rhine and Moselle, and the Rhine cruise down to Strasbourg and Heidelberg, and that also the Rhine down to Switzerland, which is a beautiful run. We have the through the main part of Europe, Cologne, and down into the Main River, through the Black Forest region, and then from into the Main-Danube Canal into the Danube out to Budapest, the lower Danube out into the Black Sea, and then into France. We'll have down in southern France on the Rhone and Saône, from Avignon to Lyon or reversed. Also from Paris on the Seine out to Normandy and seeing the beaches and the history through that area. And then all the way to the lower left part of your screen, you'll see Porto, where we're on the Douro River with a day trip also out to Salamanca. So it gives you a nice round area of all the things to experience throughout Europe and lots to see and do. And I'll again go through a number of these cruises, not all of them, just to give you an idea what makes us different. So one of the things is this Tulip Time Cruise, which is the Bruges, Medieval Flanders, Amsterdam, and the Dutch Bulb Fields. This is a 7-night cruise, and it's round trip Amsterdam. What's wonderful going through the canals and the waterways of the Netherlands and down into northern Flanders, which is Bruges and Ghent and Antwerp. And again, this medieval Flanders area, which is a lot of culture and history there. Back up into the Netherlands, where we'll spend the 7th day or the morning at Keukenhof Gardens. And if you're not familiar with Keukenhof, this is an annual gardens from mid-March to mid-May, though we'll only be in this area in April, so it's the peak, where you have these beautiful tulips and hyacinths and the whole gardens are in bloom. It's absolutely spectacular. But what makes this a little different as well from that afternoon is we arrive back in Amsterdam, where you'll have a tour. And the difference is now the ship now becomes your hotel. So we'll have the late afternoon in to tour around on your own, and also the evening to experience Amsterdam, and then getting off the ship the next day. You'll find with the Riviera, what's different is you get to see the city that you began or ended in. So it makes a difference. Instead of getting on the ship and leaving and getting off the ship and going home, we have a lot of round trip cruises, so you get to experience that town or city again that you began or ended in. Another unique cruise is that Tulip Time as well, but this is a 4-night cruise. And what's this difference is that this was originally designed for our UK clients to come in, see the tulips, Keukenhof Gardens, do the overnight in Amsterdam, and then fly home. So a short duration. But I have more and more people coming from North America, the US market and Canadian market especially, who are doing this 4-night cruise. And then Tara, who's this wonderful travel advisor who's with us, who arranged this for you today, is now combining this with another stay, for instance, with a train down to Paris or back to London or other parts of Europe. So you can combine this 4-night Tulip Time cruise with experiencing other things in Europe to do as a land stay. So this is a great opportunity to experience the best of both. And again, the tulips during this time of year are just spectacular, and it's just a wonderful experience to take in. But that being said, those are our only cruises at this time that originate or end in Amsterdam, where all the other cruise line begin or end their cruises in Amsterdam. We begin or end our cruises down in Cologne, Germany. And you may ask, why do we do that? Well, I'll tell you. Because that 1.5 to 2 day sailings between Amsterdam and Cologne is primarily industrial. So while you're cruising out to getting down to that next stop, which would be Cologne, you're looking at factories and warehouses for a 1.5 days. And when you come to start in Cologne, everything you want to see in the river is from Cologne south. So this one particular itinerary, the Rhine and Moselle, starting in Cologne, working overnight down into Koblenz and into the Moselle River, and where you'll take in Kolchem, Trier, and Bernkastel, coming back into Koblenz and Beauport, down to Rudesheim, and then back into Cologne. So you'll notice that we arrive in Cologne back on the 7th morning. Well, we'll have a wonderful tour of Cologne and experience the city, and then you'll have the afternoon and evening on your own to experience or maybe take an optional tour. And it's just beautiful. The Cologne Cathedral, all the market squares around this area down on the waterfront, it's just beautiful, and I know that's something you'll enjoy. Then we have the Rhine cruise, also round trip, Rhine cruise to Strasbourg and Heidelberg to the Alsace region of France. Again, just a wonderful region, taking the Heidelberg Castle, Mainz. Again, you'll see Rudesheim and Koblenz, but you'll notice different ports up and back to take in the experience, and arriving back in Cologne on the 7th morning with that half-day tour, overnighting, and then as well getting off the next day and be able to experience Cologne. So a lot of things to see and do in all these areas. And again, down whether it's Mainz, Beauport, Rudesheim, which is a wonderful little town, and you can take a gondola up to the top of the mountain, the hill there, with just seeing the vineyards. Of course, you're going to see lots and lots of castles. In fact, once you get south of Koblenz, You'll see some between Cologne and Koblenz, but south of Koblenz, around every other turn and bend in the river, there's going to be another castle. And we have people coming from America. We see castles all the time. Sorry, we don't see castles at all, I should say. Where the Brits, they see the castles all the time, so it's not a big deal for them. But we love seeing castles because we don't have them here. The Brits, they call this the ABC route, which is another bloody castle. For us, we just love the castles, and they're great to see. You'll get wonderful pictures as you cruise down the river. But the other main cruise to think about is the Rhine cruise to Switzerland. And this is just a spectacular cruise. But what makes us different here is that because all the other cruise lines will start in Amsterdam and they'll work their way down the river and they'll arrive down in Basel in Switzerland on the 8th morning. So what happens? They get off the ship and they go home without seeing Switzerland unless you've paid extra to do it. But because we start in Cologne, as we work our way down the river, we arrive in Basel on the 7th morning, seeing everything else that the other cruises have seen. But because we arrive on the 7th morning, we're including that full-day trip out to Lucerne, with Lake Lucerne, and then traveling over to Brinis Oberland. You'll take a tram or a train up the mountain to these beautiful vistas of the Alps region that you're seeing in the picture here, and they're just gorgeous and spectacular. This is why you want to go to Switzerland. With all the other cruise lines, as much you'll only see Switzerland from the ride to Basel to the airport. But with Riviera, you're going to get to see all these different sites in Switzerland, as well as this wonderful cruise down the Rhine. Another unique cruise is medieval Germany. This is from Mainz to Nuremberg, or in the reverse, Nuremberg to Mainz. This is that Black Forest region with all those half-timbered houses and gingerbread houses. It's just a great way to experience it. Other cruise lines do this as well as us, and they stop in a couple places along this, but this is a focus. And I haven't done it personally, but I've got so many great reports back from clients who have been on this and just absolutely love this itinerary because it's just focused on these wonderful towns along the river on the Main. And you just really want to take this all in with that pie and the beer and the wine. It's just a wonderful experience. As I mentioned again, this is the heart of Europe. This is a 14-night, 15-day cruise, starting in Cologne and working its way all the way through Europe and finishing in Budapest, or doing the reverse, Budapest to Cologne. Again, that overnight on either end to take in the city you began or started in or ended in. And then we have our Blue Danube cruise, but we do this differently as well. But we do it because we look differently because we look at the big picture. All the other cruise lines, for instance, will start in Budapest, they'll work their way up the river, and they'll get you off over in Germany in a town called Passau, where you'll normally have to leave very early in the morning to get to that morning flight. And the closest airport is a 2.5-hour bus transfer away to be there 3 hours ahead of time. So we don't want to take away from that experience, especially on your way home or even on the way there after that long bus ride or a long flight to be on a bus that long just to get to your ship. So we do our cruises round trip Budapest. So we'll go up the river, and the only thing we miss is that last stop in Passau where you're going to get off the ship and go to the airport anyway. So we go as far west as Linz. And Linz, we have an included tour to Salzburg. And Salzburg, a wonderful city. Those of you who are Sound of Music fans, yes, the hills are alive. I'm not going to sing, sorry. You'll see a lot of sites where the movie was filmed. Plus, again, just this wonderful walking city in the old town to take in. And then, of course, along the way, you'll have Esztergom in Hungary, Bratislava, which is the capital of Slovakia, Dürnstein and Melk. There you have that picture that you're looking at is the Melk Abbey. And then to Linz, and then back through to Vienna, where you'll have a wonderful full day in Vienna and early evening, and then back to Budapest on the midday of the 7th day, where you'll have an afternoon tour and late afternoon and evening to go and experience Budapest as a city, and it is beautiful. I got to spend some extra time there last autumn, and it was just, I got to know some of the areas and just the people, the food, getting around the city. It was just wonderful. A lot of markets and things to see and do and experience. Another unique cruise for us is Budapest to the Black Sea. And a number of cruise lines offer this but they really don't go to the Black Sea. They do a 7-night cruise out to Bucharest, and if you look at that map there, it really doesn't get close to the Black Sea, or you get on to Bucharest and work your way back to Budapest in 7 nights. But we do a 14-night round trip Budapest cruise all the way out into the Danube Delta. And so this is very unique. We're probably one of the only cruise lines that offers this cruise, and it sells out every year on the number of itineraries that we offer it on. And actually, there's quite a fair amount, about 20 of them. And you're making all these wonderful stops along the way, there and back. However, you're not going to the same places. And of course, the Danube Delta, if you were not familiar, because I wasn't initially, is a World Heritage UNESCO destination just behind the Great Barrier Reef and the Galapagos. So you have all this wonderful, unique flora and fauna. And when you're in there, we're going to get you into smaller boats with guides to experience it all up and close and personal. Again, a wonderful experience. And again, you're going to go into this, we call the lower Danube, and you're going to go into these towns and cities that don't have the tourism of the rest of Western Europe. And these small towns and cities they want you to come visit. They're unique, they're warm, and they're welcoming. So you're hitting these countries like, again, not just Hungary, but parts of Croatia and Serbia, Romania, Bulgaria. So again, a wonderful experience. If you have the time to do this, this is a highly recommended offer for this cruise. And because you're not going to be able to ever experience something like this otherwise. Another very popular cruise for this is now our Douro cruise in Portugal. The Douro River, you'll do start in Porto and work your way up the river, or as you go along the route there. One of the highlights is that full-day trip out to Salamanca in Spain. You'll have a half-day tour, a flamenco lunch. Salamanca is also famous for having the oldest university in Spain. So as you tour the university, you'll see desks with carvings of kids' names on it from 500 years ago. So that proves they were just as bad then as they are today. You might recognize names on that map there, like Matus. Remember Matus wine? At least when I was a kid, so maybe I'm dating myself. So you'll have a visit to Matus Palace, plus back into Porto, where you'll have an overnight, and again, very historic city as well, and lots to see, a lot of fresh seafoods and restaurants to experience if you want to during the day, and as well as on board the ship. So again, great things to experience. This is a wonderful cruise. We have 2 ships on the Douro. People might always ask, how come you don't go farther up the Douro? Okay, no cruise ships actually do that. The Portuguese, they were they had some forethought. So they built locks along the river, where when it got hit the Spanish border, the Spaniards built dams. So that's why it's not navigable past that. But you'll also notice that in looking at that little map there, that a lot of the towns are not really just on the river. There might be a small bus drive away, 15, 20 minutes. And that's because the Douro River originally was not a navigable river. So they didn't build right on it. It was kind of a rough waters until they built the locks to control it. Just a little history there. Another wonderful cruise to experience is the south of France. And this is through the Burgundy on the Rhone and on the Saône down to the Provence region of France. And this is just beautiful. Starting in Lyon, going up to Chalon and Beaune, and then back through that Burgundy region of France, with the vineyards you might know as you come through Provence. Just the spectacular fields of flowers that you've seen in those pictures. You're just going to get that up close and personal. The Pope's Palace down as you come down through the river and the Avion. So again, wonderful experiences. And again, the south of France is just, you can't go wrong. The food, the wine, it's all there for you. And this is just, again, another way to experience it. And what's different about our cruises, because we actually take the ship up to Chalon on the Saône River, where a lot of cruise lines will bus you up there. So again, a little different and something to help you experience this region. So one of the other things that's very popular is our Yuletide or Christmas markets. We do a number of them through the month of December. We do them shorter, again, originally designed for our UK market, to come over, see the markets, and then come home. But I have more and more, again, North Americans doing this. So we have Enchanting Rhine in the Yuletide markets. This is a 4-night round trip Cologne cruise, starting Cologne, going down to Rüdesheim, back to Koblenz and Bonn. All these have beautiful markets. In fact, you're looking at the background of this picture is the Cologne Cathedral with the markets right outside. And this is just one of the market squares they have throughout Cologne with all the kiosks and booths. And then the other one we offer is a 5-night, 6-day round trip Budapest. So the difference is on the Rhine cruise is you're hitting a lot of little smaller towns and villages. And on the Danube, you're going to hit the imperial cities, Budapest, Bratislava, Vienna. So again, a lot more of that different gastronomic experiences that you're not going to normally get, but with those bigger cities and just the markets, and they're just beautiful. And I tell you, it's not just about going out in these markets and you think you're going to go buy something for your tree and bring little tchotchkes home for your friends. It's really about the people and the atmosphere and the food and the drink, because, oh, the kiosks are just full of different types of foods and to buy and the drink. And of course, I don't know about you, but where I live here in New York, we have open container laws, but they don't have them there. So you'll be walking around with your beer or your Glühwein, which is that hot spiced wine. So these are just fun and wonderful things to do with friends. And again, hopefully you'll be able to experience this maybe as a first time this year. We do offer 6 new cruises for 2020. We have a new Paris Normandy cruise. This is round trip Paris out to Normandy with the American beaches and the like, and through that whole region. And also you overnight on the last night in Paris, so you can go out and experience that on your own or take an optional tour. Vienna, Bohemia, and the Treasures of the Danube. This is focused on the Vienna. This is a round trip Vienna cruise. You'll overnight the first and last night, heading out to Passau and Regensburg. Also from Linz, instead of doing that full day trip out to Salzburg, we go the other direction into Czechoslovakia. We're going to Český Krumlov, which is the second largest city or most popular city in Czech Republic outside of Prague. And the old town is very beautiful, and all those same experiences that you might take in just in a smaller scale. As I mentioned, we have those Yuletide markets that actually just run through before Christmas, but we also have new cruises, which is a Christmas cruise on the Rhine and Christmas on the Danube. These are both 8-night cruises where you'll experience and have Christmas on board ship. And in some particular towns and cities, they actually do a number of fireworks for Christmas Eve and a lot of these destinations. And then we'll then also do New Year's on the Rhine and New Year's on the Danube with 5-night, 6-day stays over New Year's on the Rhine or over New Year's on the Danube. We have a new cruise for 2021, which is Amsterdam, Cologne, and the Best of Holland and Flanders River Cruise. It kind of emulates what we do for our Tulip Time, but we'll be taking in through the Dutch waterways, as well as going through the Flanders, medieval Flanders region. But we do go out to and into eastern Netherlands, with one of the last stops being Arnhem, which is a wonderful little city. So instead of that long cruise from Amsterdam, looking at all the rivers and sorry, the factories and warehouses, we'll actually leave Arnhem in the evening and you arrive in Cologne in the morning, so you don't see any of that, and then you have the wonderful experience of being in Cologne on that last morning and experiencing that as well, or on the reverse, and then getting off in Amsterdam and seeing that. So again, a wonderful experience taking in that northern parts of the Flanders region and the Netherlands. If I didn't mention it, all our excursions are included. Everything is in English with expert guides, English-speaking local guides, so they're always going to bring in their influences of their experiences of their hometown. You'll get the Vox boxes. That's that blue box that you see on the right side of your screen that plugs into a headset. And so basically, we've always been social distancing because we've always provided these boxes. It comes with an earpiece. So when you're walking around with your tour guide in that particular town or city, with all that background noise, normally you'd have to be very close to that tour guide and be able to hear them. But this enables you to be 30, 40 feet away and walking at your own pace and still hear what the guide has to tell you. very clearly. So again, in these days of more social distancing, you can feel comfortable that this is all, you don't have to be on top of everybody. Now, river cruising for your solo travelers, for those of you who go by yourself and you don't have a companion, or maybe your companion just doesn't like to travel so much, on every single cruise that we offer, we have an average of 5 cabins on our lower deck that are regular double cabins that we offer for solo travelers with no single supplement. That means you only pay for yourself, not for double occupancy. And again, that's on every cruise. The other thing we offer are solo traveler cruises. This is where the entire ship is for people traveling on their own, solo travelers. We don't sell any doubles. So what you're looking at here are the cruises that we're offering through the rest of 2020 and 2021 that are our solo cruise departures. So on our largest ship, where we have 166 passengers, and that would be 80 doubles and 6 solos, the whole ship becomes, 86 cabins. We have 86 passengers on our largest ship for our solo travelers. And with a lead-in price for that short tulip time cruise, which should be the 4-night tulips, starting at $13.39. So a great way to get in and experience that. And if you talk to Tara, she'll let you know that is pretty good price for a tulip time cruise. We do have this wonderful special called the halfback sale. And this is something that you need to book by the end of this month, which is a really great promotion. So normally it's a $400 per person deposit for your cruise. But with this promotion, it's half the regular deposit, so you only pay $400 per cabin for any cruise departure from September through 2021. And you'll get also a $400 back as a shipboard credit to use on embarkation when you start your cruise. Plus, this is combinable with our summer sale, and that will save you up to $2,500 per cabin. So this is a great promotion. If you're looking to cruise for later in this year or for 2021, take advantage of this because it doesn't get better with these deals. So absolutely let Tara know what you might be interested in, and she can get you under deposit, and you can get, again, half that deposit and also get $400 back upon on embarkation as a shipboard credit. So luxury cabins and suites, beautifully appointed with a host of amenities and spectacular river views. Exceptional dining and a choice of restaurants from early riser breakfast to midnight snacks. We give you choice. Drinks and gratuities are not automatically added into the price. So though we do have a drinks package, and gratuities are purely discretional, your option. Carefully thought out and unique itineraries. Again, we do them. You'll find that, again, our itineraries are different because we want to make the experience better for you as our guests. And we have a number of double cabins with no single supplement on every departure and dedicated solo sailings. I'm going to show you a brief video. Hopefully this will play well. And after that, we'll take some Q&A.
On a Riviera River Cruise, we'll take your senses on a voyage. Whether that's stepping into a different era or discovering new and exciting cities, while enjoying our spacious cabins and suites and tasting our award-winning service. Luxury river cruising costs less than you think at RivieraRiverCruises.com.
Yep. There we go. So thank you very much. Let's see. Tara, are you there?
Yes, I'm there, Bruce. Thank you so very much for that wonderful presentation. You definitely have me excited to, there's definitely some cruises on there on my bucket list. I love the part of Europe especially.
Well, that's a wonderful experience. Actually, the only question I have out there, unless anybody wants to type in anything else, is John mentioned that he was on the Thomas Hardy in December for the Christmas markets, and it was a fabulous time. So thank you on that, John. So I don't know if anybody else has any questions. Maybe Tara, you have some other things you want to add?
I just wanted to, as you previously mentioned, I'm here to help with all aspects of your trip, from the flight, the transfers, the cruise itself. I work in conjunction with, our partners at Riviera River Cruises, just to make it a wonderful, seamless experience for you. So if you have any questions following this presentation, please feel free to reach out. I'd love to chat. I can be reached at 570-230-3999. You also get an email with my email address and website as well that you could browse. But I think, do we have any other questions, Bruce?
That was it. So I want to thank you all for attending. And again, you'll probably get a follow-up automated from the system, just letting you know that you can answer, I'm here to answer any questions, but I will also send a follow-up email to everybody with Tara's information as she just went over, and I'm sure she'll follow up with you as well. So again, I appreciate everybody coming on today. And again, Tara, if you have any closing words.
Just thank you so much for your time. Always
Oh.
nice chatting with you, Bruce. I always appreciate your expertise. And just to the crowd, it's a great time to book now and travel later. Looking forward to a vacation is, half of the pleasure of traveling. So I'm happy to help you with that. So thanks again to all that attended, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tara.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.